Wacky weather today. Raining in some places, extremely windy in certain sections, and as you can see in some places, it's actually kind of sunny. Although I guess the first thing I read today about weather, apparently in the US, there's been crazy tornadoes happening. Check this out. This one says, see the damage caused by deadly tornadoes. You can see all the houses, I guess, being destroyed, cars flipped over, and it just continues. And of course, there's people who captured drone perspectives. It just shows you the massive destruction. Like this one here, this guy says, this pretty much sums it up. Wow, look at that destruction there. It makes you think too, could you ever truly prepare for situations like this? You could have stocks of food, for example, water. But what happens if your home is just completely destroyed like this? Hopefully they all get the assistance they need to get back and going. And seeing people using their drones, I could imagine there's a lot of people stranded too that need some kind of aid. And since there's more people in general, like a regular individual who could fly the drone and look at the situation from above and see, hey, here's this person that needs help. At the same time, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people who say, don't ever fly over natural disasters because you'll hit an airplane or something like that. Even though the mass majority of people use it responsibly and they could use it in a great way here. Which makes me think too, because I often say, with things like the way it is with the regulations and stuff, it makes people more dangerous in some ways, where a lot of people have this false sense of security. They go through some kind of quote training that doesn't actually teach you things like flying. So what happens when you put these guys out in the field? So how about this one? I guess another report around the world where apparently police officers lost their drone. It says here, Thames Valley police officer lost control of drone, report finds. A police drone lost during a search operation was found miles away in a children's playground, a report has said. An officer lost control of the drone near Henley on Thames in Oxfordshire in April, and it was recovered 3.1 miles away the next day. Thames Valley police said the drone, worth about £7,500, was used after reports of an unlicensed music event. So they were trying to use it to monitor people, and looking at the report, what type of drone was it? It was actually an ANAFI USA, the one made by Parrot. That's the expensive one that's meant more for a military use and all that. And it says here, it happened in what? The 3rd of April 2021. And by the sounds of it, it seems like the error came about where the officer or whoever was flying it, they started the drone, didn't give it time to connect to the GPS, so when it took off, it didn't actually know where its home point was, and for whatever reason, he decided afterwards, oh, I need to hit return to home, and when he hit return to home, it didn't know where the home point was, so I guess it kept flying. It says here, while conducting a flight in support of police search operations, the pilot became concerned about losing visual line of sight with the unmanned aircraft and attempted to activate the return to home function. The UA had not acquired a GPS signal prior to the flight and therefore did not record its takeoff point, rendering the RTH function ineffective. The UA lost connection with the controller and drifted in the wind. It was located undamaged next day approximately 5 kilometers away, having performed an automatic landing. That's a pretty far distance from where they were originally, 5 kilometers? It indicates the person went through all the procedures in terms of things like checking the weather and all that. That's kind of the example where, like here anyways in Canada, they force you to learn all this stuff about clouds and all that to determine, hey, is it okay to fly? When in reality, you should be able to walk outside and say, okay, the weather looks okay, yes or no. But read this here, where it's that point where I mentioned it's more about learning real flying, I guess, experience with a drone. It says here, the pilot had completed a 5-day basic general visual line of sight certificate course with a commercial training organization in September 2020, occurring 2 hours flight time on a DJI Mavic UAS. He did not fly again until February 2021 when he undertook a 33-minute training flight on the Parrot ANAFI USA and an assessment with an instructor, during which he was assessed to have demonstrated operational flying competency to a safe standard. How could you consider yourself in any way like, quote, an expert or professional where for the most part, again, you take these courses, you get these certificates, yet you don't actually fly for that long with that type of a gap. Imagine that for anything in life. You're not gonna have the skills afterwards. It says at the time of the accident, he had approximately 3.5 total flight hours, of which approximately 1.5 were on the Parrot ANAFI USA. Just try to think of it, I guess, in comparison, like I fly for fun for the most part, correct? Look at how long I've been flying, how many hours in flight time or practice do I have? Would you actually consider that to be more valuable, for example? Or spending, say, I don't know what it is, $5,000 on a piece of paper to now say, you're good to go. Doesn't make sense, huh? Apparently, upon investigation, they looked at things like the flight record, and it said the flight commenced 37 seconds after the UAS was switched on. The battery state of the charge was 99%, so pretty much almost instantaneously. He would open it up, check it, look around probably, and just took off. I don't see what the rush was overall, since it says they were just monitoring some kind of unauthorized, I guess, music event per se. I mean, if 2.5 hours is considered, I guess, competent enough in a professional manner to fly, let's just say, any type of drone, man, what am I considered as with how long I've been flying it? Virtually every single day when I can, getting practice? I must be like, what, the Sifu or something of the entire world, if that's the standard in terms of, I guess, a professional and competency. Normally I would be in the mindset of, well, things just happen. That's the way it is. So it's more about what are you gonna do in the situation? Did anyone actually get killed or anything like that? No, then okay, hopefully you'll learn from the experience. But when you have so many officials constantly fear-mongering someone flying a drone recreationally, like say in the previous story with a natural disaster, I guarantee you, whoever's like on the board or whatever, who influences the decision, they'll probably be the first ones to come out and say, don't you dare ever fly around a natural disaster. You could kill people and so forth. They'll probably be the first ones to say it. Yet here, time after time again, it shows you it's people like, I guess, quote, officials who go through some kind of course with a false sense of security that they can now operate, I guess, a drone in every single situation. You need actual, real, I guess, tangible experience, just like everything else. I can't imagine one thing in the world where you could say, oh, I spent maybe, I don't know what it is, 50 hours memorizing something and maybe only 1 to 2 hours of practice. Now you're considered like, I don't know, a master or confident enough. I joked about it before, but in many ways it is kind of true. Where I mentioned the whole situation makes it feel like a McDojo. It's a play on words where the Mick is a McDonald's, like a fast food restaurant, and dojo where people would actually train martial arts. The focus there is not so much on training people to be able to, say, defend themselves in a competent way when the situation arises. It's more about pay your $2,000, whatever it is, attend X amount of classes, and here's your certificate to show you are now a master. Where in reality, for a lot of those people, you bring them out to like a real fight or something like that, they've never experienced it, never, let's just say, got hit by anyone or something like that, they'll freak out immediately. So in this case, how is this okay in any way in people's minds? If you talk about safety, again, I personally think it's more dangerous to have people go through these quote courses or whatever with a false sense of security that they could fly something, when in reality they don't really have the experience necessary. To me, there just seems like there's way too much conflict of interest from a commercial standpoint, where the focus is to try to, I guess, sell people courses and programs, certificates as much as they can, or people becoming some kind of, I guess, fake guru where they never say use the product or actually fly that much, but because they can just keep faking it, saying they're the quote, I guess you could say, experts in that particular product, it's profitable. Why not? And that's unfortunate, where it doesn't even really have to do about safety. And in the story before, you could have people using it in a great way, but then you have people fear-mongering it. I feel people just need to become wiser in being able to identify like who those people are per se, because unfortunately they do, like, I guess you could say, a good job in maintaining this perception, so to speak, in order to influence the laws the way they are and all that. Alright, see you guys later.